I tell ya, there's no doobit about it. Japan has the coolest gadgets, and that goes for tools as well. I dare you, go to the Bezos Bazaar or Fleabay tool section and search Made in Japan. Oodles of small sellers will send you cool shit straight from their shotgun house garage to yours. Go even further and set yourself up a Japanese Amazon account. It's easy to do, and shipping costs and times are reasonable. Or if you're really adventurous, try out Rakuten. Rakuten gives you access to all manners of small independent businesses that peddle weird tools that you never even imagined to exist. And say goodbye to your Sunday evening and probably your Monday morning too. Or you can stick around for this short video where I take you through my journey down that rabbit hole. I recently, or not so recently given postal delays during this pandemic, taken in a variety of Japanese tools that'll either prove useful or at least they'll prove conversation-worthy. Most certainly the packing material will provide fodder for proper intellectual discourse. Okay, let's start by eating icing first. Here's the Matsui Vernier Calliper. Or is it? Here it says Matui. I wonder if somebody lost their day's salary because of that one. Matsui Measure Company. So there the S is present again. Matsui Measuring Company, Ltd, made in Japan, stainless hardened. I got a fucking mosquito here. Damn it. Yeah, the reason why I got this is because it doesn't have that depth rod. Depth rods sometimes are useful, but sometimes they just get in the way and they like poke your eye out. This is pretty cool. Yeah, verniers are great. I like them. Some people don't like them. I don't find too much difficulty with reading verniers. This one here I'm not so entirely sure about though, because the vernier gradations are a little bit finer than the gradations on the body. Bit odd. But they're clear, they're easy to read. That's okay. And the thumb screw is captive. It only goes that far. I really appreciate how it's only about a little more than half a turn to go from wide open to fully locked. Interestingly, the little set screws here for preloading this rubbing plate are, I don't know what sort of cement. It looks like optical cement. It's very, very transparent. Interesting. Flip it over and we see a set screw to help prevent this from falling off the end. You got a JT. Not quite sure what that's for. Jaw style of the Matui Sui is rather similar to the Starrett, different than the Mituios, which have rounded jaws. The Starrett is a fair bit beefier in its construction. However, the inner jaws of the Starrett are a fair bit finer than on this Matui Sui. Additionally, not sure I'm picking it up, but the knife edge on the Starrett is, I'd say, at least half as thick as the knife edge on these Matui Suis. The accuracy is stated on this card that came with the package, and this caliper should be good over its length to about 0.04 millimeters. It's not bad, it's comparable to a Starrett. Let's actually find out whether it's really the case or not, though. First things first, give it a good cleaning. If you have any bit of schmoo on these jaws, it's going to upset your reading. Let's see if it zeros. Yeah, right, good and close up. Not bad. I do find that it has maybe a little bit of a positive bias. It seems like it's off by maybe 0.01 or 0.02 millimeters. Not fantastic, but not bad. Yeah, you can judge for yourself, hopefully, looking at this video image. I don't have any gauge blocks, but I do have a nice machinist parallel here. It's about a 30 by 100, and I can't verify its absolute accuracy, but at least I can compare it to the Starrett and see whether it's getting similar sorts of readings or not. Better get this block a cleaning too. And pressed in there good. Vernier calipers, you get parallax unless you're looking dead on at it, and this one has, I'd say, maybe 1/4 of a millimeter of a ridge there. And And if you get it nice and centered, it looks like about 100.1 millimeters. Now let's compare this to the Sterret. Give it a cleaning too. I know they're pretty clean, but just in case, just for consistency. Okay, and we have 100.12. Not bad. So accuracy is comparable to the Sterret. Just double check it on a short dimension. And once again, we are getting 0.1 millimeters larger than its nominal size. Let's try the Matui. Nice smooth action. And press it down good and tight. Get that centered. And once again, it's looking like about 0.1. So accuracy is within its stated precision. Yeah, it's within about 0.03, 0.04 of a millimeter. But these things are just machinist approximators anyway. You really need high accuracy. Well, do some other technique. So to conclude, I think these Matui Suis are pretty nice calipers. I'm going to keep them close at hand for ready use. The Sterrets, though, I'm going to put them back in their case and keep them for special occasions. Like when Sunday guests come over. Next up are some Hozan picks. Pretty sure that I am completely mispronouncing that. I think you need to say it like you're really constipated. Of course, I'm no linguist. I'm not very cunning either. At least so my wife tells me. Now on the obverse of the packaging is the typical Japanese don't be an idiot warnings. Toward the bottom we see some other markings, including they're made in Pakistan, which is unusual for Hozan tools. So here we have them. 2 small stainless steel probes. One with a bent tip, one with a straight tip. There was a hook tip one available, but I decided to not get it. Handles are thin. They have very good ribbing for our pleasure. Very nice little set. If you don't have a set of probes, make sure that you get a set. These are pretty neat because they're tiny for electronical works, but you could also get by with a set like these. These are Ullman probes, made in the United States, and they're only like $12. They're really, really useful. So here we can see the size difference between the Hozans and the Ullmans, and these Hozans are really a lot tinier. These will go into my micro tool kit, but these are going to stay close at hand because they're really useful. Next up is the Hozan P64 spring hook tool. Once again comes in the beef jerky packaging with idiot warnings on the rear, though now made in Japan, not Pakistan. Stainless steel nonetheless. Let's open her up and pull her out. Pull her out, and what you find is an 8-inch long tool, nicely knurled, with 2 different hooks at either end. So what the fuck is a spring hook is a fantastic question. If you fix typewriters, well, you'll be using this tool all the time. But if you're a mere mortal such as myself, a spring hook still is sometimes the right tool for the job, and anything else would just be an exercise in frustration. And here are the Hozan H73 heatsink clips. Made in Japan, made of aluminum. They are quite large at about 2 3/4 of an inch long, and that means that there's a lot of aluminum here to be drawing heat away from your solder joint, but getting these into tight spots might prove a little bit challenging. Here's a big ass lead on a diode. Quite a good connection here. The spring is quite strong. There's a little bit of a tighter spot. Yeah, good. Strong spring. Now let's try something really challenging. How about this lead way back in the corner here by the capacitor? And it works. Not bad. Pair of these. Pretty cheap on eBay. Could be useful. And here's a Tanita digital scale. Tanita's a scale company from Japan. They make postal scales, commercial scales, laboratory scales. This one here is just a consumer kitchen one. Made in China. Why I got this is that it is solar powered, so I don't always need to be buying batteries or worrying about the batteries dying. That's cool. It does have a battery backup on the back, CR232 cell. There's none in there at the moment, but I find that my shop is more than bright enough for the scale to work. There we go. It's powered on. The top is about 4.5 inches by about 4.5 inches, and it goes up to 2 kilograms, which is perfect for shipping because 2 kilograms is like cutoff limit for less expensive shipping internationally into the United States. So I like that. Also, I'm certain it's going to end up in more YouTube videos. Now let's test how this performs as the solar cells are blocked. Let's cover it with an opaque ruler, and we see that it is actually quite good at harvesting energy from light and powering the unit. It must be very low in its power requirements. If I cover it even further with my hand, well, then finally it says low and then dies. And here's the Shinwa thermometer and hygrometer set. The packing card obverse is pretty easy to interpret. Just some specs in a cartoon that I presume is about parallax. Out of the package, and they're annoyingly tethered together by some tape that leaves a sticky residue. Plastic construction. There's no option for screw mounting, and that's kind of annoying. Instead, 2 small rectangles of double-sided tape are included. I hate double-sided tape. So why get these? Well, they're cheap, and it's not a bad idea to keep an eye on humidity in the shop. These are small enough that you can even stick them inside your toolbox. Here's an NT Cutter snap blade knife in stainless steel with stainless steel blade. It is the Pro A1P model, and on the obverse the instructions are in English because they are distributed in North America. I got a pack of extra blades as well. It's a very narrow stainless steel model. It's only about 1 centimeter in width, and in thickness it's only, I'd say, maybe 3 or 4 millimeters thick. I got this tiny one, obviously not for construction duty, but it's tiny enough that I can stick it into a slot in my tool holder, my little bench tool holder. Action is thumb operated and very smooth. And when it is popped out like this, it is somewhat resistant to being pushed back in. On the rear end, you got a pocket clip. The pocket clip slides out, and we have a blade breaker that could be used like so. If the pocket clip is off as well, that's how you do the blade change. The blades are really varied. NT Cutter makes blades of different thicknesses, of different finishes, stainless, blackened, silver, and different cutting angles. So I'm going to get some pretty good use out of this little knife. Here's the Nagata magnetic pickup tool. Came loose in a bag, doesn't have any sort of a packing card, though a brochure is available on the internet. It is about 1 foot in length, and it uses an Alnico magnet. I really like Alnico magnets because rare earth magnets, even though they're stronger, they're chrome plated, and the chrome tends to chip when you pick up something. And when the chrome chips, then the internal rare earth magnet material, it corrodes really quickly in air. I've had a couple of magnetic pickup tools where the magnet's just been completely chewed out and eroded away. So Alnico is pretty neat. My mainstay is this Ullman Devices springy 30-inch magnetic pickup tool, which I keep close at hand and I use it all the bloody time because I'm absolutely futterbingered. The only thing about this Ullman Devices one, though, is that it is an unshielded magnet, meaning it is magnetic on the side, and that can be really problematic if you're trying to reach into a metallic chassis and pick up something, and it's always sticking to the sides of the chassis. This is a shielded magnet, so it's completely non-magnetic on the side, and it's only magnetic at the tip. My only concern is that this handle doesn't have any sort of grippiness to it. It's completely smooth. I wish it had knurling or a grippy handle or something like that. I can see this being really slippery with greasy hands. For strength, it's not bad. I can pick up, there's a 1.5-inch bolt, and pick up a second one, more or less. It doesn't succeed in picking up a third, however. The Ullman devices is considerably stronger. You can get one there, get two, get three, not quite four. This will remain my mainstay, though I'm going to keep this close at hand too for special occasions. The Hozan D16 alignment tool set is for adjusting trim pots, variable capacitors, ferrite cores, etc. The beef jerky packaging doesn't reveal very much, though the manufacturer's webpage states that they're made out of polyacetal, which is more commonly known as Delrin, very tough engineering plastic. Tear it open. Inside we find 5 double-ended tools, with some ends offering several different fits. The tube tool is an interesting addition. I can see this proving useful. And here are 2 Tresco branded center punches, both carbide tipped, and both of them are very good deals, very good prices for carbide tipped punches. Got a pen model here, got a whack-a-mole model. The pen model is very small, about the size of a ballpoint pen. Here's the reverse packaging, all in Japanese, though I really do appreciate how the automatic punch has a exploded parts diagram. The automatic punch is about the size of a medium pen. It's really quite svelte. It's branded Tresco, however the cap says Nagataseki on it. I believe that's the manufacturer, and Tresco is just a large Japanese tool brand that licenses a lot of products. Yeah, this is fantastic for keeping in a shirt pocket. I can keep it in a tool stand on my bench. And look at that little carbide tip brazed on the end. I also figured that a pen-size model would have a lighter touch, and that could be useful on small parts to prevent them from skittering along. And if I need to make a bit of a larger dimple than that, well, I could just go at it again with the whack-a-mole model. And here's the whack-a-mole model. It has these tubes that are for protecting the package, not really protecting the instrument. It's pretty hard. And the labeling is SK Nagataseki Medium. So once again, this is a rebrand for Tresco, but actually made by Nagataseki. Further down below, it says 2001. Very nice little brazed on carbide tip. And here is the Goot soldering iron tip refresher. Sounds like it's from Germany, but I am no linguist. It is actually from Japan. This here is for cleaning up your filthy soldering iron tips. It is a gray, granular, paste-looking substance. Comes with a manual in multiple languages, a little bit of double-sided tape in case you want to gunge up your soldering iron stand. Let's give this a try. Here is my terribly neglected soldering iron, and I'll give it a bit of a wipe. You're supposed to dip it in at around 600 degrees Celsius, and magically your soldering iron tip will be tinned and refreshed. Not bad. Let's give it a cleaning. That has not looked so shiny in years. Since you made it thus far, here are some bonus tools. These I got from Amazon Japan about 6 months ago. I don't have the packaging anymore, but they are branded Crab Tool. Can you possibly resist buying wrenches branded after a crustacean? I cannot. In fact, I bought 2 different sets. The style's a little bit different, but the range has overlap. That's okay. They are really inexpensive, and sometimes it's useful to have 2 of the exact same size. Sometimes you need that. I really enjoy these. They are thin, low-profile wrenches, and this brand, it comes out of a tiny little manufactory, not much larger than your garage, from Niigata, Japan. Japan has done a really fantastic job in maintaining small independent tool makers. unlike North America. So anyways, I hope that you enjoyed this little tour through some weird tools from Japan, and keep in mind that there's always room for tools, especially weird ones from foreign lands. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.